Welcome to week 3, episode 3 of Miscellaneous Important Stuff. This week I had Cassie and Sean back on. We talked about some more Tinder stuff. We kind of got into more details about online dating that we didn't get to in the first episode. And I also set Sean up with a Tinder profile and swiped on that for a few days, and we talked about those results. So it was an interesting conversation. If you haven't listened to episode 1, you should probably go back and do that first. It'll give you some context for this episode. We had a lot of fun, loved having them on, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So here it is. All right, we're recording.
Okay.
Well, welcome back, guys.
Oh, hello, Jay. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
So, got my list here, because as you know, I was critiqued on the first one about what I should do to improve this. So,
shout out to Snake for that one.
Shout out to Snake. Yeah, so we're gonna see how this goes. So the first week we had you, Cassie, in here. I did the profile on Tinder, got those results, and then how did that come up in conversation for you guys to do Sean's profile?
Just because I feel like we were comparing it to your profile, but you've been doing it for so long.
True.
So I wanted to start it fresh, compare it apples to apples. You use the same profile notes or whatever description. So very scientifically.
Yeah.
Keeping it similar. Except Sean's too well known on Instagram, so we had to move that to Dallas.
Yes.
Right? Dallas?
Yes.
I am curious if anyone in the Dallas area knew me.
Well, before we get into that, what is your why are you interested in having your profile set up the same way Cassie did?
I was just literally blown away by the results of her experiment. 2135 is
you remember the specific number?
Quite the number.
I mean, that number will stick with me forever because I felt the same way. I was like, what the hell was that?
And it was just really interesting too, the number of people that actually reached out to her after the match was made. I think it was 700 something of those 2135, which also blew my mind. So
well, it was even more than that. That was just I think it was 798 that were of people just
hey
or hi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that in itself made me just really curious what it would be like on my end. I mean, I knew going into it that it would be different, but I wanted to know how different.
Okay. Well, let me tell you how I set up the profile. Actually, I'm just going to open the profile and I'll read you what your description is, which is almost exactly what it was for Cassie. This is science here, so we need to make it the same.
Control.
I am curious. Did you pick the pictures that you used, or did you let someone of the opposite sex pick your pictures?
I just said, Sean takes a lot of selfies. Get on there. Get on his Facebook. You're going to find a lot.
And that's what I did. You know what? I probably should have picked somebody of the opposite sex because I don't know. I'm like, I tried to get the same variety. And then for the... Did
you include one with a dog?
Yes, I did. With the same dog.
Ollie.
It's good control.
I thought that was important.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for the first picture that is seen, I made sure it was a close-up similar to what you had. So it was like similar distance.
Gotcha.
So I thought that was important. And then for the rest, I just tried to get a variety.
Good.
For the description, it says, I like to watch movies and hang out with friends. I'm always up for an adventure, and I love trying new things. Let me know if you want to know anything else. And then you can look at these later, but there's 6 pictures, I think.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So first off, you mentioned that you actually kept track of your swipes this time.
I did keep track of swipes. Oh, let me talk about the other parameters though. I also kept that the same.
20 mile?
20 mile radius.
20 mile radius in Dallas, Texas. The age range for women was 26 to 40, and I think that's it, right? So I did keep track of swipes. And
how many swipes total?
I had, let's see, 2,500 swipes
in 4 days.
2,500.
Wait, no, 2,400. Sorry, 2,400 swipes in 4 days. Could have been more. I did do less because I had to keep track. So I was like,
counting as
I wasn't
you
just
went.
like picking up and swiping like I was.
That's still like 600 a day.
Yeah.
Quite a few. I
That's
did
a
1,100 one
lot.
night. I really wanted to see if I could get to like
To where it
running out of women,
shuts you down.
which I didn't. But I also think that's because Dallas has
A
more
ton,
people.
probably.
Yeah. Okay. So, any questions from those things?
I don't think so.
You ready for the numbers?
Yep. Ready for those numbers.
Oh man.
All right. Sean
Yes.
Ball,
Yep.
sir.
Mr. Sean.
Mr.
Sean.
You had 2,400 swipes. And out of that 2,400 swipes, you had any guess? Let's get a guess real quick. Let's get a guess.
Oh, man.
100.
100. Cassie, what do you think?
I would guess, like, probably about the same. 100, 200.
Is that just because you don't want to make him feel less than? You don't want to guess
I
less
have no
than?
idea. I have
Okay.
no idea.
Okay.
Because you said 150 was what you felt like was like your most matches.
Yeah, but
of
that's
all.
also over more days. That's probably
Yeah.
over, that could be weeks.
That's why I feel like I was curious what it would be if you just ran it back to back, like exact same experiment, new person,
Yeah.
same time frame.
Except male.
Yes, literally just a man instead of a lady.
Okay. Well, you had 2,135 matches. Sean, your final number of matches is 62.
Hey.
62.
All right. Okay.
And out of that 62 matches, how many do you think messaged you? I think it was probably close to 1,000 for you, Cassie.
Oh man. 5.
Okay.
I don't know. We talked about this before we came over because I was like, it might be attractive for some women to not have a man message them because.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. I have no idea.
But you have to give a number. You said 5.
Out of
62.
62, maybe 15, 20.
Okay. That is very generous of you. Very generous.
Wow.
The number of messages was 6.
6.
So I got close with 5.
6 messages. So it was very easy to evaluate this one because I didn't have to go back through everyone. I didn't have to look through multiple messages harassing you, Sean.
I'm curious though, were there any that were just hey or hi or hello?
That's what's interesting.
Okay.
50%
We're just hey.
3.
were hey, how are you? Hi, Sean. Something to that effect.
That's
So
interesting.
there were at least 3 of them.
Yeah, girls are not any better
that
at this.
surprises me.
Not any better. Hey, smiley face. Let's just go through them.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now, I'll give you my top message first because this was my favorite.
Okay. I'm excited.
From Elizabeth. Her message was dogs. Dogs.
That's it. Wow.
Dogs. Period.
Elizabeth in Dallas.
No period.
I think
No
we have a
It's
match.
a match.
Just dogs. Never heard anything else from her. That was the most
That
recent
is
message.
the best one.
The most recent message.
Yeah. From Jessica, we got a hey smiley face.
Okay.
That was it.
Jess.
From Nadia, all caps, we got hey Sean, how are you? No comma, no period.
But all caps?
Not all caps. Her name was all caps.
Oh,
Interesting.
Nadia, all caps. Gotcha.
Yeah. She's a person. Okay. So then from Kelsey, we got hi Sean, smiley face.
There's lots of smiley faces.
That's them putting in that extra effort.
Girls love them smiles.
Yeah.
One extra layer.
From I don't know if I'm saying this right. I'm gonna Sterling? Who knows? She said, hey baby, how are you?
Oh.
Hey, baby.
Hey,
Yeah.
baby.
I'm heading into a conference. Please give me a phone call when you can.
Oh,
I'm hardly on this app. I'll talk to you soon.
sounds like she's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
I do find that interesting because I feel like there were lots of guys who said like, I'm going to a show or a
Yeah.
movie.
I'll be in town.
She's like, I'm going to a conference, which wasn't there a girl that you had talked to who was also going to a conference here?
She was like, I'm in town. You busy tonight?
All those
Call me right
ladies,
now.
those working ladies.
Yeah. Powerful women. And this was the first message from Sarah. She said, "Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm bad at opening lines. What's your favorite Back to the Future movie?"
Interesting. Okay, that's
Sarah?
nice.
Yeah, let's get an answer.
Yeah, which
Wow,
one?
my
Which
favorite one.
I
Okay, she
have
listens.
never seen more than the first one.
They all have their merits. Probably have to go with the first one. The first one, the classic. It's probably my favorite.
Now, should I respond right now? Live?
No, it's good.
I feel like let's get... you can look at her profile later. I feel like,
Yep.
you know, I don't know. I have my opinions. We'll see if maybe you guys would be a match. I'm going to guess no. But you were a match on the app, so...
Yep. So Back to the Future 2 has those really sweet,
Sean's gonna get into this.
sweet self-lacing Nikes and the hoverboard.
That's
and,
true.
And the three-dimensional
that all
Jaws
comes from
marquee.
2?
That's all from the second one.
I
yep.
did not realize that.
And a very small part of the second film at that.
That's like all the references.
Yeah.
That's like all of it.
But the first film with like the Felix clock and the guitar and just making everything, it was so classic, so classic. So I'm gonna say Back
All
to
right,
the
Sarah,
Future.
if you're listening, Sean is not single. Not single. But you can reach out if you want, but you're going to be talking to me. Okay.
I'll watch any of them with you though. Even Back to the Future 3, set in the Wild Wild West.
Come on
Wickedy
up
Wild
to
Wild.
Oklahoma City.
We'll chill.
Yeah.
We got dogs.
We can have a screening. You can come on the podcast. We can talk about it. We can see what you're like.
I mean, also,
Actually,
I
love
would be interested in being friends with whoever it was who just said dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs. No period. But she capitalized the first letter. Like, she did that. But I feel
All
like iPhone does that for you.
But no one was like, I want you to put your dick in my butt.
No.
Surprise.
Not one.
Surprise.
Well, you only had one.
That's
so.
true.
What a shocker.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get more of those. But that's the whole thing. It was kind of in line with what I've gotten. Like, if I had done several more days, you would have gotten more messages, I think. But it was not overwhelming. It's never been overwhelming for me.
Just pretty much on par with what you've
Yeah.
experienced.
It wasn't surprising.
So no married couples, no admittedly married women, no local rappers.
No. None of that. None of that.
Come on, Dallas. You let me down.
I don't know if I've ever swiped in Dallas. I have swiped in Austin. Also a good one, but I don't know. You might have done better in Austin too. That's a totally different crowd though.
different situation over
Because
there.
Austin's weird and,
Yeah.
you know.
There's just a lot of cowgirls in Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't want to
You're-
generalize the whole population.
Did you have any pictures where his hair was different colors? Maybe that was too much for the crowd.
You know what? Let me take a look. I can describe them to you just so everyone else can sort of be on the same page. And then you can tell me if you know what pictures these are. There is a picture. It's a close-up, straight on. You got glasses on, not hair in a different color. You got like a flowered texture behind you.
Oh, that's the Kehinde Wiley picture.
Yeah.
Taken at the museum, yeah.
That's the first picture. Second picture is you're sitting somewhere. Ollie's got his little paws on your shoulder, and you're looking at the camera like, yeah, that's my dog.
Nope, that was in the living room fairly
I don't know if I
recently.
know this picture.
Yeah, you saw it.
That's that picture right there.
Yep.
Just so.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. This next picture, I recognize it. I don't remember where it's from exactly. I'm thinking Colorado. You're standing on a path. Your center of frame.
Yep, that was Colorado. That was when we were
This
in
one right
Evergreen.
here?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Knew it.
I took that one.
Hiking.
This one, you're also center of frame. You got like, it looks like a cabin
Man, you really
texture wall behind
amps
you.
up the
that was
adventures.
That was the
Well, yeah.
portraits we took when we went down to Beaver's Bend. With,
Is this one you're thinking of?
Yep. With the
I
Reniers.
knew it. You guys are really good at this game. You're like, you know your pictures. Okay, this one's a selfie in the mirror. I feel like you got to have one of those. You're wearing your GR1 shirt.
Yep.
Right
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Classic Sean. That is classic Sean.
Now, this one, Munchie's in the picture, but she's like real tiny. I was like, should I put it in there? Should I not? You're in you're on the lake.
Oh yeah, on the kayak.
Yeah.
Oh,
With a dog.
Munchie.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, I like
I like
You
adventure.
really played up the adventure for Sean.
Yeah.
You're like in the outdoors. doors.
I feel like it's different though, because guys need a little help. You got to show that you love adventure. You got to show you're worthy.
Oh, as a lady, I don't have to show it.
I really don't think you do.
Well, it does seem like you don't.
By the numbers.
I still can't believe the difference in results that we got here. So let's talk about that.
You want to unpack this?
Yeah, let's unpack it a bit.
Well, first of all, I did the number since I did your swipes. I figured out the percentage, which was 2.5% swiped. Yes.
And what comparatively was hers?
That's what I don't know because I didn't count. That's why I wish I would have counted.
Oh, gotcha.
But I would guess 50%. Like, I don't think
Probably.
that's crazy.
No.
It seemed like every other swipe was yes.
But I also feel like it's that way across the board for probably all men and all women. I think that is what it's like for ladies and what it's like for men.
It's been my experience.
Yeah.
Jay, when you looked up Tinder statistics in general, did you see a general male female breakdown of Tinder, like percentage wise?
I got some screenshots here that I can read from, and I don't know where these originate. I don't know what the source is, but they're still interesting.
We can't cite these later.
No.
Just hit us with
Whatever. It's still interesting. Percentage of the time that women swipe right on Tinder is 14%.
that seems very low.
Now, what do you think it is for men?
75%.
That is 46%.
Oh, well,
Okay, that's-
I
Which is
was
still
thinking men
high.
were too desperate.
It's much higher.
Men, you're not that desperate.
I mean, that's still much. That's
Still close
almost
to 50% of the time.
Yeah. But also, I'm just curious. Did they have any numbers on amount of users, like ladies?
Like, what percentage of the
men?
Tinder population is female? What is
Because
male?
it seems like it's almost double or triple the amount of men.
Yeah, and I don't think I saw one of those. I do have, let's see. I have age groups, which I thought was interesting.
What
do
are
you
the
think?
age groups?
Well, so the way they broke it down is, so here's percentage of Tinder users that are between the ages of 18 and 24. What do you think that is?
It seems like it would be the
probably
most.
the biggest.
18 and 24.
Because they're the most
A bit,
new
yeah.
and anxious
Out
for sex.
in the market.
They're like, oh, this is exciting.
This is a new thing.
Yeah. And they have probably more time to like get out and meet people every night.
True.
All the time.
Just out of high school.
Yeah. Living the life.
They're mostly probably single.
Yeah, there's probably tons of them. 50, 75%.
That's a big range. You went from 50 to
I
75.
changed my mind mid-sentence there.
Okay, so which one?
I would go with 75.
I'm going to go with it's 60%.
Okay, it's 50. 18 to 24.
So
But if
half
you-
of the people are 18
If you add
to 24.
another 10 years, though, 18 to 34, what do you think?
18 to 34, I'm going to put it at 85%.
Almost all of it, yeah. 30.
You hit it exactly.
85.
85%.
Nice,
85%.
very nice.
Which is,
That
makes
seems about right.
I'm not seeing a lot of 40-year-olds on there.
But I'm also wondering, where do the 40-year-olds go?
They're married or they are at the bar.
yeah.
Is that what you're going to do when
Well-
you hit 40 if you're still single?
Oh, God, don't say that.
I know you've moved on to Match.com.
I don't even want that. It's terrible.
But I'm...
Okay, but percentage of Tinder users that are using it to find a long-term relationship, how many do you think?
I would say it's high. I feel like
say,
just talking to people that I know, it seems like that's what most people want.
I'm going to throw out 45%.
I would say it's like 75.
It is 80%.
Yeah,
80.
I feel like just
80%
talking...
are looking for a relationship?
Which surprised me because I figured...
Did it really? I feel
Yeah,
like,
because I feel like a lot of women are looking for relationships
Yeah.
on there. A lot of men are not.
I feel like there is a misconception though, because
That's
of
true.
course, like I've heard that, oh, it's a hookup site, but like everyone that I've talked to who's been on it is not looking to hook up. They just want a relationship.
Or you think you're looking to hook up and then you get on
But
there
like
and you're
really, that's not
it
what.
was a nice date.
And I feel like once you get on there, particularly if you're a woman, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to hook up anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
I think everyone has there is that misconception that you get on there and you think that's what it is and then you realize it's not really.
Yeah.
It's crazy though that like you forced yourself to give up Cassie's Tinder experiment after 4 days because you were completely inundated with the amount of response you were getting, whereas you could have done mine for 2 weeks and never felt that same
But I think
stress.
that's also how Jay's felt doing it for himself.
Yeah. So my experience was similar to your experience.
Yeah.
So that made you probably feel like better about your experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's the same for...
It is normal.
Yeah.
And that I now understand the other side.
Yeah, which is terrifying. Like, I'm so glad I don't have to navigate that. Although I think it would be better if I was like being particular about who I was swiping on. I'm sure it's different, but I think you're still going to get a lot of creeps, a lot of...
Yes. Of course.
People not trying very hard, and
I mean, it's disappointing from my side when I know that I'm trying and I read everyone, and you like, just like you would in real life, you swipe on somebody that you hope will like you too, and then you don't get that.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, well, why? You just want that chance to talk to them because you wonder if I could talk to them, maybe they'd like me.
Maybe it just gets buried in the...
That too.
Like...
Probably.
Because I had texted Jay one time about something, and he was like, sorry, your text got buried in notifications when he was doing my profile.
Of your notifications. I was like, I did not see it till the next morning because I looked at my phone and it was just so like, many.
Terrible.
You got a match, you got a match, you got a message, you got a message.
Which has to be exhausting for anyone to have that many messages. Or, I mean... I feel like I would get jaded very quickly. I would be like, I am over this situation.
Yeah. And I feel like that's probably true of both sides too. Because even I think when I was probably swiping on people I actually had an interest in, I got enough messages. It wasn't crazy like yours, but I got enough where I thought, I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Don't feel like it.
Do you feel like for the most part you send a message first, or do they send a message first?
It was mixed. I've got messages before, but some of them don't really say much. So then you go, well, like, hey, am I going to engage in this?
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you feel, based on your experience and then also having seen my experience, do you feel like there's an expectation for men to make the first contact after the match has been made?
Yeah.
I feel like there is.
Definitely.
There has to be.
Because I don't usually wait to hear something. I usually start going through my matches and seeing... Who do I actually want to talk to?
Yeah.
What am I going to say? What do we have in common?
Like, do you ever expect the ladies to message you first?
No. I don't expect it. Sometimes it happens, but I never expect it.
But I feel like that's probably...
Are you always surprised when it does happen?
Not... I wouldn't say surprised, because I know it can happen, but I just don't expect it. I think if I want to talk to this person, I got to figure it out.
I feel like that's probably... the same on both sides. I feel like most of the women probably are expecting, because they're probably getting a high volume of messages, they just expect that they will, like, if a guy matches with them, that they're gonna get a message.
Do you think, based on your experience with Cassie's profile, that the experience for most women is similar on Tinder?
I would have to say yes, because I've also talked to women about their experience on there. I don't think I've asked the right questions thinking about it now. But it seems like it had to have been. Yeah. That's just nonstop.
But I'm sure most of them are more particular about who they're swiping on. Because obviously, like, most women only swipe on, 14%?
Yeah.
So that's like a very low number. But I'm also thinking it's probably because they come across way more profiles than men are coming across. Like,
that's true.
You obviously experienced... a high volume of men you could swipe on.
But from that 14%, I mean, you got 2135. So let's say that from 14% over weeks, you could still have hundreds.
You could, yes, for sure.
And from those hundreds, you're getting a lot of hays.
Yeah.
And the way to stand out is to say more than,
hey.
What's up? What up, girl?
Yeah.
I think from this data, we did learn that if you have an animal in your profile, you will
do well.
You will draw at least a comment from someone pertaining
which Jay knew going
your
into
animal.
It. Yeah. He specifically was like,
I feel like a genius.
I need a picture with you on a dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a thing.
It's all the rage.
Yeah.
Let me do some math here, you got 1 comment about dogs from 6 messages, which
That's pretty high.
is
Pretty high. Yeah.
so right now we're looking at 17% of the messages were of dogs.
Yep.
Not bad.
Do you have Cassie's numbers, like number of responses and the
'Cause I feel
number
like it was a
pertaining to
lot.
Ollie?
Have
It was a
those.
lot of dog messages.
So dog messages were 50 for you.
That's a lot.
50.
That is a lot.
That's mentioned a dog in some way.
Out of how many?
How many messages were there?
Actually, I didn't count that because there was overlap in hers.
Yeah.
Where like I put check marks in several categories. But I'm thinking at least 800, 900, 1,000 maybe.
I feel like my wife is now like a local celebrity. Like when we go out there, that's that girl that just showed up on Tinder.
She was the one that never responded to me.
No, because think how many ladies probably don't respond. Or like
That's true.
match and then they're like, ooh, never mind.
But I can tell you, I have run into somebody that I saw on OkCupid once that was messaging me that I wasn't really interested in. And I was like on a date with somebody else.
Ooh, that's
And I was like, I
awkward.
think that's the girl. I think that's her. And I felt real bad because I was like, I think she knew and I knew.
You're like, hey,
Sorry.
girl.
this
Did
other
you
girl.
wave at her or did you just avoid?
I don't even know if we made, you know, we might have not made eye contact,
That's
but I
probably-
saw her
It's probably the best.
and I was like, let's get out of here.
How many messages do you feel like that you've sent that go unanswered?
Oh, it depends because when I've really tried and like tried to have some sort of witty comment or something unique, I think there's a really, really high percentage where I get a response.
Probably
Because
of-
700
yeah,
of the other
look at-
guys are like, yo.
Yeah. What up, girl?
What was that one that was just like something about a hoe?
Oh yeah, you around hoe?
Like, are you a round hoe or you are a round hoe?
Could be
Could be either.
taken either way.
Maybe he wanted it to be taken both ways. Yeah, I don't.
Like I feel like it's for you. You should feel encouraged
I do in a way. I mean,
that the competition is bleak.
low.
Yes.
Back in our college days, Cassie was working on a school project outside, and she was approached by an individual walking by that said, "Girl, you got big hair."
Yeah, that was like a classic line that I will never forget.
did you have big hair at the time?
I have like really curly hair naturally, so I had just like let it do its thing. So it was kind of big. I don't know if I would consider it real big.
Do you
but
consider that a cat call? I feel like that's
for sure?
It was
because
a cat call for
then
sure.
he like proceeded to like try to talk to me, and
Oh, okay.
I was like on my porch, like trying to go inside awkwardly.
It's a thing with my wife. She attracts people in this way. Even recently, when she went out to Vanessa House, she was approached by an individual who wanted to find out what game she was playing and join the
Bless
table.
my coworker for saving me.
Do you want to go further?
Shout out Brandon for saving me from that.
See, I've never had that, and I don't understand it.
It's weird. It's weird. And also it's awkward because I was just like coming back from the bathroom when I heard someone say something to me. I don't know. I think it was like, hey honey, or like, hey, like obviously they were talking to me. So I turned because like, of course, as a human being, you're going to acknowledge someone talking to you. But then I realized like, oh, it was like a table full of bros playing dominoes. That would be a great band name.
Table full of bros.
Playing dominoes.
But then it was like awkward because they're like, join our dominoes game. And I was like, oh, you guys are playing dominoes? Well, that's cool. I'm actually playing games over here with my friends. They're waiting on me, like trying to get an out.
You're like, I'm actually playing games. I'm married.
But then
over here.
he was like, oh.
Brandon had to bring that up.
He was like, oh, what game are you guys playing? And I was like, Exploding Kittens. And then he's like, I want to see it. Followed me over. Bless Brandon for stepping in and making friends with
Being
this
like a little
guy.
buffer.
But this is not the first time that this has happened to Cassie out in public.
No, and I'm sure it's not the first time for most women. I think that's a very universal experience for women.
But my question is, if you were single, is there ever a time where that's welcomed? Where you could you see yourself starting to talk to that person and then going on a date with them, or like giving your number, or is it just like don't do it?
I feel like, I don't know. That's a hard one. Like, he was so kind of aggressive about it, and that was like kind of creepy to me, which I don't know. I'm married, so it's already creepy, but it was creepy how aggressive he was about it.
Yeah.
In an experience that I had previously at Vanessa House, like I went for a drink by myself and was like reading a manga, and one of the bartenders didn't say anything to me. I like finally took my glass up there, and he was like, "Oh, I saw you were reading a manga. What is it?" And like started a conversation much more. I don't know. It didn't seem threatening. Like,
This
it was
is the
just
first time I'm
nice.
hearing this story, by the way.
Even better. Huh? Let's
Sorry.
unpack this.
Well, it wasn't like he didn't make any creepy moves. I think that's the thing. Like, I probably would have had a longer conversation with him if I was single, just because I would be like, oh, you're interested in something I'm interested in. Like, he wasn't creepy about it. He wasn't making me feel weird. He didn't follow me around.
Yeah.
Take note, gentlemen.
Like, don't follow ladies around. Don't. Yeah.
Give your McNelly's going up the staircase incident as well, because that was also I
That
think
was
an
like a nice one.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, you got so many good stories.
I was going to meet a friend at McNelly's on like the second floor, and I was just like going up the stairs, and a guy passed me and he said, "You look really beautiful tonight." And then he continued to just like go on his way. And that was like one of the nicest experiences, because he didn't like corner me or try to stop me. He just like,
It was a genuine compliment
he just
that was
kept
paid.
walking. He
and-
obviously wasn't trying to stop me, and I was like, that was really nice. Like, I didn't feel creeped out. Like, if he had like stopped and like tried to get in my face, I think I would have been really creeped out. But the fact that he like just kept moving, I was like, oh, that was really.
So you actually appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it didn't feel creepy. I was like, that was very nice.
That's interesting, because I feel like there would be other women that would be almost offended by it, because you're like, well, you only commented on the way I looked.
I mean, probably, but I think.
But I think a lot of people like are trying to look nice when they go out,
Yeah.
even if it's just for themselves. So to have someone pay a compliment,
And maybe it's sad that was nice to me, because literally because of the fact that he didn't corner me.
Yeah.
Because I've been cornered before, and that's a terrible feeling. So I was like, oh, thank you so much for not
I think
harassing me.
making
I
me
think-
feel awkward.
too. Also, people who are maybe genetically blessed as a very attractive person get that more often, and so to hear that, maybe it's not as meaningful to them because they've heard it so
Yeah.
much.
That's probably a good
I would
point.
agree. Like, I'm just like a normal person, so
But she's not. She's
no.
she's
All
not
right.
just-
Well, you got to say that because you're married to me. Got the ring to prove it.
My only experience with almost like being, I would say, hit on or whatever was at a bar when I was in, I think I was post college or in college. It was at Stonewall in Stillwater, and it was kind of like last call. Everyone was paying out their tabs, and while I was waiting in line to pay my tab, this girl who had come with another guy obviously was not wanting to go home with this guy, and she was almost begging to go home with me, but I was in a relationship, so I'm like,
You're like, sorry.
like, I'm really like
I feel-
flattered
I
that
feel for you,
you're
girl.
but she was also very drunk, and I could tell she was drunk, so I felt bad about her situation because I didn't know if this guy was like, you gotta come with me,
Like too pushy.
You're like, do I need to get you out of this
Yeah.
situation?
Like, you can come with me.
like I'll help
Somewhere.
you,
Away
but
from
we
this.
can't like go back to my place, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's just one time, and it was a very awkward situation.
Yeah, I feel like it's different for women though. Like, I saw this ad, it was by an ad agency recently, where they fitted women. I saw this yesterday. They fitted women with dresses that would sense if someone touched them, and they put these women in a nightclub, and they got like on average like 60 touches an hour, like on their body. And
Just, like, intentional-
I was not surprised by that.
But touches how?
Like,
where?
and they showed where, like, it was
Okay.
all on like shoulders, hips, side, like mostly just like people like. But it's interesting because I don't think men experience that.
No.
Like, it's a totally different experience, which I wasn't surprised. 'Cause-
If I think men are a lot more aware if a female physically touches
because
them in
it-
conversation,
yeah, because it doesn't happen
is so
much.
rare.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, hey. Hi.
Like I've even been like groped at a fancy event, like, you know, when I worked for this event company, Sean and I like were helping out, and so we were in this like Chinese dragon,
part of the dragon costume,
and I was at the end, obviously a lady, because I had a dress on so you could see that I was a lady, and some person grabbed my ass, like just openly,
and probably didn't think anything of it.
Oh like, no. And it was like at a charity event.
And these were people that probably paid about nearly $1,000 for their ticket to this event, so it's like the who's who of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
But I don't think it's just not surprising, I think, for ladies to get lots of attention. And
what percentage of men do you think that way, though?
I don't know, because like I think most of the men that I'm friends with I don't think that they act that way.
Yeah.
And I've been friends with lots of men all of my life, and I don't think most of them are that way. So it's weird to me, because I'm like, I know most men that I associate with are not this creepy.
Yeah. But you're also probably more aware of it. You're thinking about it. I mean, it's also possible that men are being approached like that. But I think if that happened to me, I might not be as bothered by it.
Probably not.
But I mean, maybe I should be, but I don't know that I would be.
Probably not. I mean, I think it's also just like, as a woman, I've grown up with my mom and dad like warning me of like what can happen to you as a lady, and like, do you have pepper spray? Do you have a taser? Like if you're going to be alone at night. Like I remember getting in trouble, not even in trouble, but like my parents were like frustrated with me in college because I was like, I'm in college. Like I'm going to Walmart at like 2 a.m. Like I didn't care. And they're like, yo, do you know what happens to people? And it's
especially at Walmart.
Yeah, probably not the best choice. So there's like this underlying constant current of like trying to keep yourself safe.
I feel bad about that because then
you shouldn't feel bad about it.
But I mean but I do think about that because even the idea of like hitting on someone, you think this is like
am I coming across as creepy?
Yeah, that maybe you do just want to talk to somebody and be respectful and like get into a conversation, but there is that I know there's that part for women that I don't have to think about.
Yeah,
I think that's also why it's easier to be on somewhere like Tinder where you're like, all right, we all know what we're trying to do here.
Yeah,
we're all trying to go on dates, so this is fine.
And I'm sure that's part of why 85% of people are looking for a relationship, because it's like you're not really getting on to just be like, hey girl, hey.
We all sort of, that's why it's easier for me, because we all sort of know what the rules are.
Yeah,
I think the idea of hitting on somebody is harder because you're like, I don't know if they're on board with this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. And there's been this whole movement, especially if you go on YouTube, there's all these people trying to show you how to be like a pickup artist, how to hit on women, how to get numbers.
Yes.
I just can't ever see being comfortable with that, even though they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just real uncomfortable, I think, for most people.
Yeah.
But it's been popularized in a way where you feel like you have to do that, where like that's the norm, where you should go and like you got to be this guy. You got to be that guy that can do those things.
But I think that's the guys that most women are creeped out by.
Yeah. I'm the guy who walks my female coworkers to their cars because I know how bad it is for them and what kind of part of town we live in and what kind of people they get exposed to on their way. And
I mean, it is scary walking alone. And it's been interesting being married because I've had the experience of like, I like to frequent comic book shops and game places where there's primarily men, and almost every single time, if Sean is not with me, if I go alone, someone corners me. Like I was just rifling through comics, and twice now I've just been like looking through the comic bins on the floor, like minding my own business, and a dude has like cornered me and proceeded to have long conversation with me and ask for my number, and like I just want to look at the comics alone quietly and like mind my own business. So it's like, that's frustrating. But I have noticed a huge difference. Like if Sean's with me, I get to have that. I can have the peace and quiet that I want. But if he's not there, almost every single time, either an employee or someone is going to say something to me for
like,
sure.
Single girl in a comic shop.
Sure.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Not even just the
Every
comic
time.
shop. Barnes and Noble, you're guilty of this too.
Yes.
Your workers have
Barnes and Noble.
been very friendly to my wife.
Can I just sidebar this really annoying shit that drives me crazy with Barnes and Noble if I go alone? I love to go to the manga section, and I was wearing a raincoat of one of my favorite mangas. Like, it has it on the back, and this guy was like, oh. He recognized it. He was really excited. He's like, great. Do you want me to show you where his books are? And I was like,
Dude, I'm the guy wearing his clothes. I think I can find it.
Been here before.
like I was
Been
just
here
like
before.
like I didn't know what I was doing.
Is this
like
your
I'm-
first time? Okay, we have like 30 seconds left.
Okay.
So we should wrap this up.
Yes.
Okay.
We've gone on many
No,
tangents.
it's been great because I feel like, these numbers were a little bit smaller, so we got through them pretty quick.
No, I mean, it's like we went through them quick, and then we got to talk about the meat of it, which is comparing apples to apples.
And what it's like for men and women, which we don't have to experience a whole lot. Oh, there's the timer.
There's timer. It's not a hard timer. I'm not going to like cut it off, but no, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think that it's obviously a very different experience for men and women in general, which is kind of sad to me. I don't know. Something about that feels depressing.
Unfair?
Yeah, very unfair on both sides.
Yes, even though while this was like a little bit of a punch in the ego to me,
I don't think it should be like Jay's said. It's like a similar experience
Oh,
for
like it's
him. Like it's like I
normal.
think that's normal for guys.
Yeah, sure, but just coming after your numbers, I knew it was going to be bad compared, but I didn't know it was going to be like 60 out of
Yeah.
2,400, and then 6 out of
But
those.
I think we talked about how there's different expectations, which good or bad, like
Yeah.
there's just different expectations for men than there are for women.
I would like to talk to a guy who's got 2,135
Yeah, you're like,
matches.
what are you doing?
And I want to know, what is the difference?
What does your profile say?
Yeah.
How are you doing this?
You look like a god, sir.
So yeah, just very interesting and very eye-opening as a social experiment dealing with gender.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely surprised by the numbers. The number difference and like just knowing what it's like for women out there, and then knowing, I think part of it is just the pool difference though. Like
Yes.
I think there are so many men saturating this app that's part of why the numbers are so different.
Just looking for anybody who will pay attention
Yes.
to them.
And again, I think that's something that maybe we need to look into after this is like, what is the breakdown male to
So-
female percentage users on Tinder?
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
love to know if they have that data. I feel like they're not releasing that data if they have that data.
Probably don't want anybody to know.
No, I would assume they're like, don't tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jay, thank you for the
Yeah.
experiment, and
Yes.
thank you for whatever you needed to do to make my profile happen in Dallas.
It was very simple and very easy. Thank you for letting me use your pictures. It was not overwhelming at all. It was actually a much more relaxing week. I'm sorry to say to you, but it's also been the same as my experience. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking about the other stuff too, just relationships. You guys should definitely come back on. We still got to do like a full podcast on just
Oh yeah.
relationships.
You got to get some other people in
Listen,
here.
These are my
You gotta
conversations.
Mix
I
up
can-
this podcast.
No. Listen. can
We
talk-
would be happy to be back, Jay.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean's on board.
That's the answer I was looking for. I just want to have interesting conversations. There are plenty of podcasts who have people come on all the time.
That's true. We'll just be like your regular guests.
That's fine. And
We'll
the fact
be
that
the
it's-
Lauren and Paul of his CBB.
Yes.
the fact that it's 40 minutes also makes it tough because I feel like for both of these conversations, we haven't really finished them.
No.
And then I have so many more questions.
We have questions.
Yes. And I think the reason I like talking to you guys is you have a relationship that you have certain things that I am looking for in my own relationship. So I think that's good. But we'll get into that later.
Next podcast.
Yeah, next podcast. So thanks again for coming on, and see ya.
See you later, Jay.
this was a lot of fun. I really like doing these little social experiments and then talking about them. I think the discussion's the really fun part. So if anybody has any ideas for another episode like this, let us know, and maybe we'll try it out in the future and talk about it on a future episode. So yeah, we'd love to hear some ideas so we can take this even further. So thanks again for listening, and we'll be back next week.